Hello common people, this is Common Guy Reeves and I am your lovely host Pepsi. Halloween is sadly over, but the joys of horror are still with us. We had a swell time. I made this pumpkin cheesecake and we played Mansions of Madness board game, which took us like 3 hours for beginner scenario because we were just learning. We also watched Bride of Frankenstein and it was a cool movie. It started as a story told by a lady who was an author of a book, The Monster of Frankenstein. And she was telling how it could continue. And the story was sad. Frankenstein was only trying to be understood, but was just chased away and harassed. He even got together for a while with a blind man who offered him a drink and a smoke.
Good, good. Good.
But just when he was hitting that doobie and listening some sick tunes the old man was playing, some fucker showed up and ruined it all. It is not fair. Good news made me feel better though. Terrifier 3 has made globally $63 million ruinies and its budget was only $2 million, so it is pretty sure that we are getting another sequel next year. God praise art. But overall, Halloween went smoothly, and today we are going to continue our journey with some Lovecraftian horror, which arrived me after the Halloween, yay! Re-Animator is a cult classic made by Stuart Gordon, and is pretty loosely based on H.P. Lovecraft's story of the same name. It tells a story about Herbert West, a man who has broken the boundaries, founding cure for the ever-harrowing disease we call death. We start this movie with a good showcase how well this movie's practical effects are. Group of police break into a room where West is kneeled over a violently shaking person called Dr. Hans Gruber, who was his teacher and professor. They take West away, who says that he gave him life. Before Hans dies, his eyes bulge out and blood splashes everywhere with a pretty nice fashion. Fast forward into the future, Miskatonic University in Arkham. Dan Kane loses a patient and is down low because of it. He meets West at the morgue as he is new but oddly weird student of this university, who right off the bat calls Dr. Carl Hills and his studies about brains outdated. This creates instant conflict and we see that they are not going to be the best buddies. West moves into the basement of Dan, making his laboratory there and begins his odd experiments. That include, for example, Dan's cat, Rufus. Herbert is an asshole, or at least very rude about everything he does or says, but he is determined and fixated into his research so much that it tickles the boundaries between sanity and insanity. Dan and his girlfriend Megan, who is a daughter of the medical school's head man, are both like unfortunate side characters who are just there to witness the horror West creates. When Dan's cat is reanimated after being killed twice, Dan is forced to believe that what West says and joins him in his efforts to fully reanimate a dead body. Every time we see him talking, he seems exhausted and tired, fearful and defeated. And it emphasizes how everything happening is just beyond what he has as an aspiring doctor learned throughout his life. As I said, practical effects in this movie are god tier. Puppets and blood are so awesome, and of course I read on the internet how they actually used gallons of blood to make the effects. That's determined and cool. It takes itself more seriously than I thought, because from somewhere I heard that it would be more comedic. Of course there were some things that were more funny, but overall the movie behaved more as a horror movie. A lot of dead bodies coming to life, a lot of blood, guts and hanging bits, and a lot of nudity for some reason. We watched the integral version of this film, that was put together by Arrow Video. It combines both of the additional footage added into the R-rated version with all the original movie's gore, so this was longer, gorier, and surprisingly hornier version than the original version that people saw in the 1985. Main villain was Dr. Carl Hill, who after discovering West's work was adamant to get it to himself. What was weird about Carl was that he was able to hypnotize people, and that was never explained. He just suddenly started talking to someone in a slow and deep tone, and the person listening was just repeating what he said. It came out of nowhere, and we just accepted it as a fact. Carl was a hypnotizer now. He stopped at nothing to get West's secret formula, like Plankton to the Krusty Krab. He walked into the West lab and to insist that he would get it, and West would be his assistant. Of course, with a bit of hypnotizing, but that's just normal now. Well, will he succeed?
No, I will not succeed.
If you want to find out, I highly recommend, no, I insist, with a bit of hypnotizing,
that you go and watch the Re-Animator as soon as possible.
It is a cult classic that should be seen by everyone. Why should I watch this movie? Well, have you ever seen a severed head trying to give oral sex to someone? I thought so. This was my simple review about Re-Animator, a cult classic that is just the thing to start this movie trilogy, which I lack second part of yet, but will get it soon enough. I hope you liked it, and if you haven't seen the movie, that it got you interested. Before you go, please hit the subscribe button. No, I insist.
Subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment below when was the last time you were strangled by the reanimated guts.
This was Common Car Reviews and speaking to you, your lovely host Pepsi, and I'll see you in the next review. Goodbye.